By the way, I'm reading on my phone. I don't know if it matters, but I made some notes on my phone when I first woke up this morning, and I was waiting for my tea to boil. Okay, all right, let's start. I know I'm not the only one who's kind of been like knocked around by quarantine. Like any semblance to a routine that I had before quarantine is totally gone. But it's been 7 months now, and it's time to start solving this problem because who knows how much longer this is going to be going on for. I'm driving myself crazy like this. I honestly was never really good at having a proper routine, and honestly, I think you could argue for most people this develops pretty naturally during high school. I was a crammer. I pulled all-nighters in crazy, pressurized situations that I set for myself, and I was proud of myself for being able to hand in all my assignments when I was working against some insane clock that I really never needed to. Like, they give you like 3 weeks to finish an assignment, and the night of, at like, not even the night of, like I'd wake up at like midnight to start my assignment, which is dumb. I don't know, like that's just what festers in high school, I guess. I don't know. But that doesn't really work when you're outside of school and when you're trying to work for yourself. I think school, even though I haven't been in school for like 2 years now, definitely still holds more weight in my mind than personal projects or like working, like things I want to do to advance myself or whatever it may be. And I still try and keep these old ways of pulling all-nighters and cramming in the things I want to do or leaving it all night to do it. But it definitely doesn't work because there's no pressure forcing me to do it. Like, it's not the same as school when I have to hand in the assignment at the end of the night. With personal projects, the only thing keeping you to it is you. And so these routines don't work. Hence why I'm up at like 6 o'clock in the morning trying to draw. It does seem strange that maybe I would need convincing to do things I love doing, though I think this kind of happens to everybody. But this is where I think my quarantine mindset definitely developed and came in. I'm so used to working on my favorite activities, like around work. I'm used to scheduling things, not really scheduling, just naturally doing things because I'm like, oh, I have to go to work. I might as well wake up and read a little bit because at work I'm not going to be able to do anything like that. So I naturally scheduled my favorite activities around work and around school when I was in school. And now I have nothing. So, I think it's just strange because I want to be creative and I want to go on walks and I want to bake and I want to learn and I want to do all this stuff that I love doing. And I think when I spend all day working a minimum wage job, maybe it's like the structure or it's like the need to offset these worked hours with something I love doing. But either way, it keeps me in line and it keeps me doing things I love doing. Now in quarantine, I guess my true bad habits are coming out because I have nothing structuring me. And I think just like in high school where you depend on that pressure, maybe I was depending a little bit too much on work and being able to schedule myself around work or being able to even just want to do stuff because I was going to work. Yeah, I think in quarantine, it's really bringing out the bad habits people already had. And so, like, as much as I'm like, quarantine broke my mental health, it was on the verge, you know what I mean? Like, I just didn't know it yet. Now, since my true bad habits are coming out, I think I have no idea how to get myself to do things I want to do or just have a productive day in general. Like, either I fit way too many things into my day and don't get them done and then I'm upset with myself, or I don't do anything all day. Like, there's no in between. I try and do everything and I get like a bunch done but I don't feel satisfied, which isn't a happy day. Like, it doesn't matter if it's productive. It's not a good routine. Or I just leave everything pile up, cramming, such as laundry and dishes and whatever other mundane tasks I have to do, and then I don't have time to do art or draw or whatever I want to do. Yeah, I just don't know how to get myself to do things I want to do or how to have some form of order. I don't think I've learned that, and I don't think a lot of people have learned that. When I think about my future, I imagine a lot of things. Like, it's an idealized life, but it's not that unrealistic. I just don't envision myself sitting around watching YouTube videos when I first wake up, which is just bad habits that I don't even like doing now, especially first thing in the morning. I think that if I envision myself living this life, I have to start now. Good habits aren't going to randomly develop, and if I want to develop them, I need to start. So here we are. There's no reason I can't make steps towards my dream future, since really I'm not asking too much of myself. I just want to do things I love. Like, it shouldn't be that hard. And I think definitely this is also where that social media mind comes in. Like, I know I don't even care about a lot of the videos I watch. Like, I go back and I watch old videos of I don't even watch them. And like, to be clear, I'm not sitting around all day watching videos. I'm just like in my own head. Like, I'll be sitting there dreaming about things I want to do instead of like just trying to make them happen. Like, this is the way you start making things happen, not by just sitting there and thinking about it or sitting there and watching videos of other people doing it. Like, the way you do it is by starting. I live in a beautiful city. You can't really see, but Mount Royal is behind me. I'm in Montreal. And I always wanted to live here. I grew up just outside of it, and now I'm living here. And I live in a very, 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 very small apartment. But I like it here, honestly. I like to turn it into a negative. But it's just weird because we signed up for this apartment thinking that we were going to be able to go out all day, and none of that's happening. Everything is still closed. Some things are open, but Montreal scared me, dude. Montreal is pretty crazy. Yeah, I think Montreal's pretty crazy right now with quarantine, and there are a lot of people who don't believe in it and don't believe in wearing masks, and it sucks because I think Canada is a pretty cool country sometimes. I mean, we've done a lot of stuff, but that's another topic for another day. Point being, I wanted to live in Montreal, and I live here now, and I live in a very small apartment, and it's definitely not like the inspiring studio spaces you see YouTube artists have, and it definitely makes it harder to get yourself to do things when your space isn't perfect. That could be because you're living with your parents, or because your apartment is crummy, or because you're just not in the space you want to be. I want everything I want from my future life in my current life, and I'm here, and I like to blame it on a lot of things, and it's social media brain, and it's quarantine brain, and it's small apartment syndrome, and it's everything, and those are all valid, and it's mental health, and whatever it is, like everything the reason why I'm not doing things I want to do, they're all valid, but I still want to do things. I don't know, like it doesn't help to just sit around and list off all the reasons I'm not doing stuff, because I've done that for 7 months, and I'm not happy, and I'm not happy because I'm not doing things I love doing because of all the reasons I'm listing off. So it's a bad cycle, and I don't want to be in this cycle. So to jumpstart this change and to reach a place where I'll be happy, well, I don't know, we could go on a whole conversation about happiness and the journey that it is, but just to reach a place where I feel content, and I'm doing things I love doing, and I'm making strides towards my future, and everything I want to be doing in my future, if I'm making strides towards it, I assume naturally I will be happier. And I love waking up early. Like, when I was going to work, I woke up early. I got whatever, I'd sit down, I'd read, I'd drink my tea, and I'd draw, and I'd feel so happy, because like that was like my peaceful morning time, and I was the only one awake, and I was just chilling out, doing my own thing, and I don't do that anymore. I just sit and I scroll through YouTube and whatever, and I watch YouTube videos when I first wake up, and that's not something I want to do. It's not something I want to do with my future, and that's not something I want to do now. To jumpstart this change and to restart my life, or reset my life, or whatever the heck I'm going to title this video, I'm sitting down here with a cup of chai tea. I'm going to try and wake up every morning for these 7 days, and let's see how much longer this can go, and make art at sunrise, if possible. Hopefully this will sort of ripple into my everyday life, and I will just start doing more things I want to do in general. Like, I don't think it only has to apply to art. What am I drawing? That's a good question. So I'm going to put down my tea for a second. Every time I see an artist put up a challenge, I'm always like, I really want to enter this challenge, except I have extremely high expectations for myself, and I want everything I create and everything I put out online to be perfect, which is weird because none of my YouTube videos actually feature art I love, but nonetheless, I want everything I create and everything I put out, especially if I'm going to send it to an artist I like, to be perfect. And I'll see an artist challenge and I'll be like, this is an incredible idea, I have this insane idea, I really want to create it, it's going to be so cool, and then I overthink it and I'm like, I am not ready to make something like that, and I'm just not going to do it, which is not helpful. It's not helpful to do that because, like, at least I could create it and just not hand it in, but I just don't do it at all. And so, October 1st, anywho, 1000, who's an art YouTuber, the challenge that he put out is for the theme of reaching new heights. I already have a sketch in my sketchbook that I want to redraw, and I think that this would be a really good sketch to represent it, but I'm going to change it up. Basically, it's all these people, I'm sure you can't see it from there, it's all these people walking up these stairs in different forms till eventually they reach the top and they start jumping back down, which may seem a little bit opposite maybe to reaching new heights, a little bit sad maybe, but that's kind of what it feels like right now, especially during quarantine. Like, there's no rising up. Maybe I'm wrong or just negative, but for this piece of art, I'm going to try and make it all me because I'm narcissistic and this is about me. Basically, I want to draw myself in various stages of going up these stairs until eventually I come back down and reach new heights. What we're trying to do right now is reaching new heights. So the challenge in of itself is being presented today. This is going to be a really long video. I am sorry if, I don't know who I'm sorry to. You chose to watch this video. So, oh well. You're not really going to be able to see what's going on in the drawing because I'm going to be using pencil today to sort of sketch in some lines. And then eventually I plan on using Crayola markers because I like Crayola markers for this big paper. I will insert some other pieces I have made with Crayola markers on this paper. It kills my markers. It really doesn't like this paper. But sometimes it's, you have to do it for art. I'll just buy some more markers eventually. Let's get started. I'm rambling on now. There's no point to what I'm saying. It's day 2, and I am still in my pajamas, so that hasn't changed. Today I have a cup of Earl Grey tea, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if you can't tell by the sky and the fact that there's an intense amount of sun in my eyes, it's not 6 a.m. It's 8 a.m. or almost 9 now. I woke up at 8 a.m. I kind of set myself up for failure last night. Like, I went to bed at, I think, 2 in the morning. Here we are. I will say, as much as I want to wake up at sunrise every day and be on the roof painting and drawing, I think for a challenge like this to work, you kind of have to be easy on yourself when you mess up, because changing your entire schedule in one day, it's not just like one day you're waking up at 6 a.m. You're changing it one day, and then all of a sudden for a whole week your body's into a shock. And I think you kind of have to be easy on yourself, and I don't think most people do that. So fact is, yeah, I slept in, but I feel better than I would have if I didn't get that sleep. I needed the sleep. I'm one of those people who, like, if I schedule my day, like a little self-imposed schedule, and I go off of that schedule, I'll just quit for the day, and I'll do whatever I have to do tomorrow. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I woke up this morning feeling very unmotivated, especially to carry everything outside. I think that's the main problem I have. Like, just going up to the roof, not a big issue. Bringing the big sketchbook and the easel and the table and the chair, that's a longer process. But it's good exercise for first thing in the morning, and it wakes me up. I think for future days, I'll try to take showers in the morning, because when I was in high school and going to work and everything, first thing I did in the morning was take a shower, which it makes me feel so good, and I haven't been doing that in a long time because I have nowhere to go, So I'm gonna try and do that tomorrow. I didn't do that today. It's not the point of the challenge to wake up early. Like, as much as that's like a caveat of the challenge, really all we're trying to do is, work on our routines and all that stuff, and make ourselves feel happy for the day. And putting pressure on yourself because you didn't wake up early isn't going to do that. It's just going to make things worse. If I was writing this in a self-help book, I think I'd say, give yourself the permission to fail, but do not give yourself the permission to quit, or something like that. But anywho, basically, you don't need to wake up at 6 a.m. to get things done, but you should still try and get it done, even if you messed up that timing, or even if something got in the way, or whatever. Yesterday, I drew the staircase. I'll put a little video that will show it better than I'm going to show it on this camera because it's so far away. And, you know, I felt content. I packed all my stuff up, brought it all downstairs, you know, just, I felt good. I did it, you know, and it's not that much, but it's enough to get the piece started. Except, throughout the day, because it's on an easel, which I think is a really good thing, because it gave me a chance to look at it, instead of like waiting till the next day. Anyways, yeah, it's on the easel, so it's just sitting there in my apartment, and I'm walking past it, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, this is just, it's off. I don't like it. So, the one that's on the canvas right now, even if you can't see it, is actually a new and improved version. Yeah, and I hate redoing anything. So I think maybe because I started so early, that's the reason I actually like was willing to restart, because like I did this at 6 or 7 a.m. right, and then I didn't redraw it till midnight, and so yeah, that felt nice because it felt almost like a different day, all in one day, which is cool. Well, this is a pretty big project, and honestly, I'm a little bit unmotivated today to sketch. I really just want to use the markers. I want to start using color, but that just means I have to get there. I can't just be looking forward to doing something and I'm not going to be able to do it if I don't do the sketching portion. So we have to do that. My goal today is maybe not to perfectly sketch out all the bodies, but just to get like a semblance of where they're all going to go, so that I can finish that tomorrow and then get started with the markers. That's going to be a lot of work, but yeah, I think today I'm going to just make it an easy task of just sort of placing shapeless bodies down, like even just squares down on the canvas. Yesterday and this morning, I've been thinking a lot about how big of a difference your space can make in your life and in the art you create and stuff, and I think I might have mentioned this yesterday, but you know, the artists we see on YouTube have these beautiful studios, perfectly set the scene to create art and to be inspired, or it might just put an insane amount of pressure to create something worth your space. I don't know, but what I do know is that I certainly don't have a beautiful art studio at all. I don't have one of those aesthetically pleasing apartments. All I have is a very small studio apartment that I share with my partner, that kind of just has all the necessities because it's so small. Yeah, so I wrote this down about my space yesterday while, I think it was just after I finished drawing in the morning. I wrote this down. I mean, our space isn't perfect. It's like the size of a matchbox, gets to over 40 degrees Celsius in the summer. The walls are thin enough that you feel like your next door neighbors have you bugged. And on the topic of bugs, we've seen more ants than a popsicle left outside on a summer day. And we have our fair share of cockroaches. But honestly, it's become home, which is a double-edged sword. I think comfort tends to lean towards laziness and procrastination. You aren't comfortable in so many ways, but in the ways that prevent you from doing the work. Like the space is small and it's not perfect, but I'm just comfortable enough that I can be lazy and lounge around because it's my space, if that makes sense. My home is one room which I share, no separate space to get work done, no time alone. Satisfaction goes hand in hand with distraction, and dissatisfaction follows. Yeah, that's what I wrote. So I think that our minds require some form of separation in order to be productive. This may mean separating your days into tasks. This may mean having a separate space in which you work. So many different things, you know. And I think this is necessary, especially if you have a untrained, I don't know if you can see my air quotations there, an untrained mind. So by this, what I mean is that you haven't really spent the time to focus on learning how to be productive, especially, like I said this yesterday, but especially when you're in school, you learn really bad habits, and maybe you think you've kind of figured out ways to be productive, but I think overall we just teach ourselves really bad habits throughout our entire life, and unless you like train yourself to get better with these things, they're not gonna get better. We were planning on not spending any time in our apartment, and now we spend all the time in our apartment. So now, what, will a year go to waste because, you know, I'm gonna blame it all on the space I'm in? Well, that just almost sounds ridiculous saying it out loud. Fact is, even though it's hard, developing skills now, when the advantage is that I'm always home, and the disadvantage is that home isn't inspiring or whatnot, will greatly benefit me for the future, because hopefully in the future I'll have the ability to go out more, have a nicer space, so forth. And that doesn't necessarily mean that your mind will be in a place to be productive. It may also mean there's more distractions. It means a lot of things. And fact is, if you can figure out how to be productive when things are harder, when it's more necessary to learn how to be productive, it'll help you in the long run. Basically, I'd like to think that a good space makes a big difference and would benefit my productivity and whatnot. But I really think that creating positive routines would make a greater difference, and then I can be productive anywhere, no matter what situation I'm in. I'm sorry, I'm really squinting, like I can't see anything, so I'm gonna finish this off here. As you may be able to see, I know it's a little bit far away, but I did follow through, take a shower today. Like I want to kind of be lazy in the morning, even though my morning really does affect the rest of my day in such an intense way that I don't usually, I don't know, I know how big of a difference it has to have a good kind of productive morning versus not having that, because my most productive times are during the morning, and so if I want to sit around and watch videos or whatever, it's fine, like you can give that to yourself. Like I shouldn't be doing that in the morning when I feel my best, I feel my most energetic, my most exciting, my most productive, and I'm kind of wasting it, if that makes sense. And that's not to say that, like, you know, a rest period in the morning is a bad thing. That's just to say I need to learn how to balance my time, I think. I think sometimes I need to think about future me instead of present me and how it's going to affect future me. Because something as simple as showering is going to make the rest of my day better, even though it might not make me excited to do in the present right now. I spend too much time thinking about future me instead of working on the present to make my future where I want it to be, if that makes any sense. Like, I have dreams of things I want to do, and I'm like, wow, I'm going to do all these things, but the fact is you don't do any of them if you don't start now. Like, and something as simple as taking a shower in the morning, or doing the 4 times up the stairs it takes to carry all of this stuff up, which is a lot, which is part of the reason I don't want to do this in the morning. But yeah, like simple things like that will make a difference, you know, simple things like posting videos, and it's not that hard to do, and I like doing it. It's just sometimes things you like doing becomes things you don't like doing just because you make a chore out of it. I don't know. Basically, what drawing in the morning is for improving present me to get to the place of where I want future me to be. And I think I'm thinking about them as 2 different people, when obviously they're both just me, just at different periods. But the fact is that to make them one, this is gonna get really meta, dude. To make them one, you need to start now. Again, drawing these in the morning, and just drawing in the morning and showering in the morning is all just steps to get me to that future version of myself that I want to be at and that I envision myself being at. So, yesterday, I honestly didn't get as much done as I thought I would, or as I hoped I would, but I actually did get more done than I expected, because I was pretty scared to start drawing the people on this drawing. I'll put in a picture of what I ended up doing, because I know you can't really see it from that far away, but yeah, I was really scared, and so what I actually ended up doing while sitting up here on the roof was I took a picture of the canvas, and then I drew in with a little my finger on my phone. I'll put in a picture of that too. Of kind of positionings where the bodies could be, like super rough, like only I probably know what it means. So I'm not going into it blindly, which I think is what was scaring me the most. It's so cold outside right now that my tea is already getting cold, and it was hot when I brought it up this morning. So, love that. I would like to finish the rest of the sketches today for the bodies, but realistically, I don't know if I'm going to do that. It's kind of a lot of work since I'm taking all the reference photos myself and then sketching and re-sketching them all in to try and fit. I really want to make it crowded with people. That's what I want it to look like. Like, I think the drawing that I was basing it off of just didn't have enough people on it to make my point come across, even though I had a totally different point back then. But yeah, anywho, I'm going to get to work now. And I'm going to cut this here because I'm pretty ready to start today, which might be because of the shower. More on this later in the week. Might be because I'm getting used to waking up and doing stuff, even though it's only been 3 days, so probably not. Anyway, I think it was the shower helped motivate me a little bit today. So, let's do this. Day 5. What happened to day 4, you ask? Good question. I woke up a bit late, so I think I woke up around 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock it was raining, so, well, I woke up, I saw it was raining at sunrise, I went back to sleep, so I was exhausted, and then I woke up, and it was raining at 8. However, I did actually work on the piece, but we'll get to that. I just want to say, today was the first day I actually caught a sunrise. Like I've been up at sunrise time, and it's just been completely cloudy every single day right now, and that probably has influence on why I haven't wanted to get up, because I got like barely any sleep last night, and at 6:30 this morning I look outside and there's pink in the sky, and I'm like, oh, I'm so excited, let's go. And I jump right up to get my stuff done. And that, like, I feel like that has a huge influence. Here, at least, I know. Recently, clouds have been so gray and so, like, sad looking. And don't get me wrong, I love a good fall day. I love, some misty weather. It's some of my favorite weather. But the sky has actually such a big impact, I would say, on how you feel. Maybe I'm wrong, but at least for me, like, a blue sky on a really lovely day, even just the weather in general, like everyone says, like, don't talk about the weather, that's a boring thing to talk about. Yeah, it is. I know that's small talk, but we're small talking now. I've already gone through some other topics. I think the weather actually has such a big impact on how I feel. Like, when the weather is nice, it's like a nice fall or spring day or something, and I can, like, sit outside and get some work done, that's my favorite. That's the best ever. Because sitting inside is just never going to do that. You can try, and there's like plenty of places I've been that have done an okay job of recreating that, but working outside for me is the best feeling. So here I am, trying to do that. It just, I think for sure, like, the weather is so much more obvious, but the sky, like, we've been having so many gray days here, and it's just been like so motivation sucking, if that makes sense. Like looking outside and the skies are all gray, dude, that sucks. I hate that. And this was the first morning I woke up at 6:30. Like, I'm pulling myself out of bed at 6:30 because I want to try something new and I want to be up at sunrise, and there hasn't been one sunrise. This was the first sunrise. The reason why it's like so weird outside, it's like, I swear it's like 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. It could be more, it could be like 10 degrees Celsius. But by the time I like lug everything up and drink my tea, I'm hot. Like, I'm good. I'm in my sweater, my fingers are cold, everything's good, I can work. So I hate lugging everything up here, but this is my point. When it's a gray morning, I have so much trouble being like, it's worth it, get up in the morning, it's worth it. But, the this morning I woke up and I look out the window. I have my alarm set for 6:30. I look out the window and there's just pink skies. And unfortunately, me being a big dumbo, I didn't capture it on camera because I was like, oh, I'm gonna bring everything outside right away, I'm so excited. When I probably should have just like gone up and gotten some nice footage for you to prove that I'm actually ever awake at sunrise. You're just gonna have to believe me. Yeah, there's no evidence. But yeah, it was just such a beautiful morning, and if every morning was beautiful like that, I'd be so much more motivated to get up and do stuff at 6 a.m. Like, unfortunately, every morning here has just been so dim and or grim and dismal. I think those are better synonyms to use. They've just been sad. Like, I love mornings, don't get me wrong, I still love them, but looking outside, it's so much harder to get motivated when everything is, let's say, really, really hot outside or really cold outside. Like, those are, when it's really hot, I just want to stay inside and move the least possible. And when it's really cold, I just want to like get wrapped up in a blanket and move the least possible. And in fall and spring, I'm motivated. Here we are right now. This would never happen in the summer. I had this idea all summer long. That's why I was going to do it at 6:30 because it's not as hot at 6:30 as it is every other time of day in the summer. Yeah, but I didn't do that. I'm just not as motivated in the summer. I'm not as motivated in the winter. What's my point? I think yesterday, on my day off from filming, I guess, I learned more about productivity than I did all the days where I was trying to challenge myself, because I got a lot done yesterday. I did everything, like, okay, let me explain this. I took a progress shot of day 3 where I had done kind of like these people at the bottom, and then on day 4 I did everything else. Okay, so I'm really happy about that. Like, I got a lot done, and now day 5, like, I'm pretty set up to do anything I want. I can start coloring, I can keep drawing, like, options. Love that for myself. Hello. Today I wanted to try something a little bit different, bring out a little bit more of a casual setup. So all I have is my little thing to record on my phone, my sketchbook, some markers, and my cup of tea. This is day 6, by the way, I didn't even say that, but so day 6. Today I let myself wake up on my own, because I've been waking up to an alarm all week, and I was thinking, how much does this demotivate me, waking up to an alarm? Because I wake up and I really, really don't want to come out to the roof and work, like, at all. And I'm thinking, there's probably a better way to do this. I know that, like, I want to be like training myself a bit to wake up earlier, but I'm already a pretty early waker. I don't think it's like I need to wake up earlier. I think I need to wake up better, as in not wake up and waste time in the morning on my phone. So I woke up on my own, no alarm, at 7 a.m. this morning, which I'm pretty happy with. That's not too bad. It's pretty sunny where I'm sitting right now, so if I'm squinting a bit, that's why. I probably should move into the shade, but you can't even see the mountain, but it is these beautiful shades. You can't see it. It's these beautiful shades of red and orange and yellow, and I will take a video. I definitely want to walk there today, but yeah, I figured this morning I want to try something a little bit different now that it's day 6 and this little experiment's almost over, but I don't want this to be an experiment. I want this to be something I implement into my life. And I don't think the most efficient way to implement something into your life is to make it into a negative experience by forcing yourself to get up and do it. Like, the fact is, I really want to wake up and be in the mood to make art, and if I have to set an alarm, which I hate alarms, like, sometimes they're good, but, you know, sleeping in's a nice thing. It's nice to, like, wake up when you feel like waking up, and to, like, allow your body that privilege to decide when it feels like waking up. And as long as, like, you're able to get a good night's sleep, you should wake up somewhat consistently, you know? So I let myself wake up. I woke up at 7, and I felt so much more motivated this morning to do stuff. I woke up and came right out here. Like, usually it's like I have to, like, force myself to come out here. I also think another thing that's probably been somewhat negative to me feeling creative in the morning is me bringing out a huge project that has a lot of pressure. And I was thinking about my last video, because I just put it out today, or yesterday, sorry. I was thinking about my last video, and I was thinking about how I say start small. And the fact is, waking up first thing in the morning and working on this huge project is kind of the opposite of that, and it puts so much pressure on my art. Just waking up and I can work on something chill and like listen to some music, I think that would be really good for me. And so I'm here, I'm gonna fill in. I did actually show it briefly in my last video. I'm gonna fill in this sketch. I don't know if you can see it. This sketch. I'm gonna take you through a little process. I think I'm gonna pick the markers. I'm just gonna use some Crayola markers, the same thing I plan on using on the big thing, so I think that would be good. I've just been thinking a lot today about social media brain, and the fact that like I don't think that not that I'm capable, but I don't think I've had silent moments with myself in a long time. I used to have those all the time, where I just like went on walks, went outside, went to go draw, went to go sit in the park and listen to people. And I feel like now you rarely find me not plugged in to something, and it's usually not even music. I don't think music is a bad thing, but I'm usually plugged into a podcast when I go out. I'm usually watching a video when I eat. Like, I rarely have times in my day where I'm just sitting there thinking, and I used to do this all the time, and it's just, I don't know if it's I'm not able to because of like this social media brain, and the fact that like, you know, I can't even watch a video without skipping through it. I can't sit still. I get restless, and it feels like I'm fighting against myself. Like, I don't have enough hours in the day to get everything I want to get done, but that's not true at all. I have a lot of hours in the day. The issue is I'm not using them effectively. It's all about this balance that I don't think I've found. And it feels silly to be fighting against time and fighting against myself when I know I have more than enough hours in the day to get everything I want to get done. I just don't give myself that time, you know? And I think to some degree, social media should almost be a form of reward instead of like a form of distraction. Like, it's like if you do everything you want to get done, then you should be like, oh, you know, I've done everything. Let me go watch stuff. Let me go enjoy this time. You know, it's like being a kid and you go to school and you come home and your parents let you have like a little bit of TV time, and it's like, that was such a reward. And now it's like in the middle of the day, I don't feel like doing something, I'm just gonna watch something. And it's not like even like a conscious, I'm not like I've done stuff. It's like or like I'm lazy. It's literally just like natural reaction to go procrastinate, and that's something I need to break. And that's not something that's like crazy, it's just something that's not what I want for being a creative person and for eventually relying on myself to make things and do things. Like, I want to be somewhat self-sufficient, and I can't be if my natural reactions of things to do are procrastinate. So I'm gonna try something today, since this is a week of experimenting, and I'm gonna just try and be more conscious of my hours in a day, and it's very simple, and like, if you want to do this, I think it's definitely worth it. Just like I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I think try and do something every hour, and I don't mean like something like, I don't know, something of worth that like I can be like, I got this task done. And it doesn't have to be huge. It could just be, maybe I'd say 20-minute chunks, like I was saying yesterday. Like, go on a 20-minute walk on the hour. Right now I think it's like 8 o'clock, so my 8 o'clock chunk will be working on art. If this carries into 9, part of my 9 o'clock chunk. If it's not, then maybe I'll go on a walk, maybe I'll do the dishes. But I just want to get like something done every hour, and that way I can really feel time, because by the end of the day I'll have done like 15 things, you know? I don't think I can wait anymore for quarantine to end to depend on going back to work and stuff, because it's like I'm running out of time. First thing, I'm running out of time as in I'm forming these horrible habits, and at some point they're gonna be so bad that I can't break them as easily. And right now I'm conscious of it. And I've been there already during quarantine where I was like just subconsciously doing things that were destructive, and now I'm like aware that I'm not enjoying that and I'd like to fix that. So what am I saying? This is what happens when I don't have like a little script written out, and that's why I write something. Like I can write something 2 seconds before I get on camera and it can be somewhat understandable, and then if you ask me, hey, can you talk and you put the camera on, all my thoughts are just like jumbled like crazy because I don't know how to organize what I'm thinking. Yeah, I think I'm gonna get started. I'm pretty excited to just have a chill drawing session, to be honest with you. I had one yesterday, which was in my video, actually, kind of. It was in my last video. I showed the page, and I just did this, and it was really chill. Like, I just enjoyed not putting pressure on myself and just coloring something in. And so I'm gonna do that again today with this piece. I don't know if I'm gonna finish it. I'm just gonna enjoy drawing. So yeah, let's get on to that. Today, I was just really vibing with these greens and oranges. And something I really love about sketching is that not only is it fun and low pressure, but also I may love something really small about the piece, even if I don't like the piece itself. Like sketching this piece, I learned I really like this color palette that I've never tried before, and I also really like these kind of like swirly things I did all over the page. And this drawing session was just really chill and really fun and enjoyable, and because I was drawing outside, it meant I could hear the church bells that go off at the most random times here in Montreal, so there you go, you could hear them too. Hello, day 7. It is clearly, once again, not morning, but I do have an excuse. A pretty good one, I think. This morning, I realized that I didn't feel like drawing first thing in the morning, but I woke up at 6:30 this morning on my own, no alarm, which I was pretty happy about, and I knew that if I made myself get out of bed to come up to the roof and draw, I wouldn't do it. I would just quit. And it seems so useless to waste like a good day. I don't know, I knew it would bring my whole day down. And so what I did instead is I actually gave myself sort of an ultimatum. What I was talking about the other day of switching out different activities that I could do during that time period. And I said, okay, if I don't want to draw, let me go work on the article I had to write. It was a 4,000 word article and I had 1,000 words left. I said, those are my options. And so I went at 7 in the morning and I wrote my article and I handed it in, which is pretty cool. And I think that was good because I think trying too hard to stick to a certain option and be like, the only thing I'm gonna do is draw today, and or this morning, like at 6:30 in the morning, I need to draw, is not a bad thing, but I think doing it in that way, especially with a big project like this, it's just not gonna work as well. And I found yesterday, I got a lot of work done, and I think that's probably because I started with just sketching and not working on something so big and something so serious. So I wanted to try that again today, and it's now the afternoon. I got a lot done yesterday. I followed that sort of idea that I said I was gonna try and follow of splitting my day up into like the hour-long sections and then doing like 20 minutes of work within that hour. And I did everything I wanted to do in the day. I finished my whole sketch, which I'm really happy about. I think it looks pretty cool, and I think it'll look really nice colored in. And so that's what we're doing here today. I'm gonna figure out sort of the color scheme I want to use. Because I just want to keep it easy, keep it simple, and maybe I'll draw later today once I have that figured out. So I'm just gonna test out some colors on a separate sheet of paper. Day 1. I had said that I was trying out drawing the stairs and I messed up. We're just gonna draw on that same sheet of paper and test out some colors. So I'm a total geek when it comes to colors and things, and I have a whole bunch of these some are Crayola markers, like these water-based markers, and some are Sergeant Art. I don't know. But I'm a total geek, and so I actually labeled and made a swatch sheet for the entire set here of markers I have, which is, people ask me, I said this in my last clip, but how I come up with color, how I come up with my color schemes. I've been asked that once or twice, and really it's like, it's so helpful to just have like all the colors laid out like this. And I actually did find a few extra markers here, because people always give you Crayola markers, you know? So what I want to do is I want to have all of the figures, the solid figures in the drawing, be sort of like primary bold colors and different, how do I explain this? Like different strokes of that shade. And I'll put up an example. I've done this before with another piece of art on this same paper with these same markers, and I really like how that looks. So I'm gonna try that again, but on a smaller scale. And so I definitely want to have one red figure color way. I want to have one green, one blue, maybe one orangey yellow, because I think that yellow would be too light, and orange I would need yellow to lighten it. I know my camera's shaking a little bit, it's just because it's windy outside and I don't have a proper tripod. I feel like color testing like this is such a good way to start your day, because it gets you to make some marks and pull out your sketchbook without any of the pressure of creating. It also is a really small task that will help you make a lot of progress in the long run. It is noon and I'm pretty motivated. I lugged all this stuff up. Once again, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is a lot of stuff to bring upstairs, and I'm pretty motivated at noon. I mean, I already got a lot done today. I got a lot done yesterday, and I feel a lot happier, which is good, because at the beginning of this week, I was feeling pretty down, which is why I did this, because I just wasn't getting anything done. My takeaways right now for this week, I feel a lot better, actually, and it seems a little maybe presumptuous to say that right now, because who knows, but my period hit in the middle of this and I'm still doing okay, which is, I mean, that's pretty sick. Usually I just get really down on my period, and I think it's really helped, honestly, because I was feeling really down, really just upset with myself for not being more motivated, which you can't force yourself to be more motivated. If you're not feeling like working, you're not feeling like working. You can't get yourself to be more motivated. You can only do more, you know? And maybe it was waking up early. Maybe it was just drawing more, because I haven't been drawing very much. I don't know what it was, but I've been feeling mentally a lot clearer and a lot better, which makes me happy, because I don't know, I had been staring at this blank sheet of paper for weeks now. I remember, like, as soon as 1000 announced this contest that I'm drawing this piece for, I was like, oh, that would be really cool to do. And like always, today is, I believe, the 27th, and it's due on October 1st. So once again, you know, I waited, I pushed it till the last minute, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. It's just, I wasn't doing it because I had so many other things to do. I literally wasn't doing anything. I was just sitting around procrastinating, and the issue with procrastinating is it's not like I was procrastinating doing things I liked doing. I was procrastinating doing things I didn't even want to be doing, which sucks. Like, that's not how I want to live my life. I just found it very annoying, because what I would do is things like drawing, something I really wanted to do, right? Something you want to do with a clear head, it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good. I don't know. It stresses me out a lot. But once I'm doing it, it makes me feel good. And I can just lose hours. Like, drawing is probably the only thing in my life where I don't go crazy overthinking while I'm doing it. Like, don't get me wrong, I will sit there for hours before I'm drawing, freaking out, being like, I don't want to do this, I'm not good enough to do this, I blah 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 blah. And I'll sit there for hours afterwards, staring at the piece, being like, I don't know, but I'm never like upset once I'm finished a piece and looking at it and it's bad. But During is probably the only time in my life where I am not overthinking things. My mind gets cleared when I create art, which is why for so much of my life it's been such a liberating and important part. I'm just the kind of person who has like a million things going on in my head at all times. Like, I'm not saying that to be like, I think about a lot of stuff. I mean, like, I think about too many things that I never finish a thought, which is kind of what this piece is about. It's like there's this whole top and I'm never freaking reaching it because I just jump off to something new. It's not what it's about, but there is that in the piece, which is, you know, I just have way too much on my head, or way too much in my mind, which is an issue because it means I never finish anything, and then I get mad at myself for never finishing anything. And something that's always helped with that and helped with clearing my mind and making me feel better was drawing. And I probably needed that most during quarantine, and I have not been drawing, which is backwards because the time I needed it most, I was doing it the least. Even though sometimes it feels like making art is less important than the other things, making art may actually like allow me to do the other things, you know? Like taking that hour out of my morning to draw will allow me to spend the rest of the day being productive. And it shouldn't feel like it's taking time away from doing that stuff, because what would I be doing with that hour anyways? Probably just sitting there and watching videos first thing in the morning or scrolling or whatever. And so, I don't know, I feel like this little challenge has actually helped me a lot because I went from, it's not like some big transformation. I've been productive in my life before, I'm just not being productive right now. And so I think this functions well as an exercise to get you back into being productive, which is what it worked for me, which maybe you could challenge yourself to do the same thing. Not 6:30, it could just be late night, it could be painting at sunset. Like, I would probably prefer to paint at sunset. I just get very nervous about my neighbors seeing me on my roof, which I really don't want. I don't mind them seeing me on my roof. Correction, I mind them seeing me on my roof with my camera set up because that's embarrassing. I'm doing it right now because I just have my phone, so I feel like that's pretty chill. I'm pretty happy. I'm not done with this piece. I'm gonna try and finish it, but I want to finish this video. I want to finish this video and upload it before October because I want to do Inktober, where I upload a video every day. That's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm pretty happy. I feel a lot better than I did, and that's on that, I guess. I don't know what else to say. Day whatever, I don't know, day 8 maybe. I finished it, I guess. I don't love it. I don't even know if I like it, but obviously it's provided far more for me than just being the final piece of art, and so I'm okay with that. I might revisit it because I feel like I could finish it off and like it more, but for now it's gonna stay like this because I am tired of looking at it. Yeah, it doesn't feel done. I don't know. If you have any ideas about what I could do, you know, you could leave a comment, but I'm gonna submit it into 10 Hun's art contest for the first time ever. I'm gonna submit something for one of these things, which is really exciting that I actually finished it. I will say, today is October 1st, and I finished it this morning. So, in very me fashion, I procrastinated finishing it, but I finished it. So, yeah, it's done. If you want like a better close-up, I think I'm gonna put it up on my Instagram, so you can go check it out to see that. Thank you for watching this video.